What's up, folks? You are tuned into the Failing Frequency. I thought that would be good to go in.
Yeah.
I am Ethan.
And I'm Mike.
And we like talking about Star Trek.
Yeah.
We got some news for you this week from the return of various old enemies.
Yes.
Some free thought. People trying to raise horrible creatures from the dead.
The dead.
I had a good day. And then we've got the latest episode of Star Trek Prodigy Crossroads. But before we get into any of that...
And all the time codes down below, of course.
But anyway, what was I saying? How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, man. You know, busy working. But other than that, living the dream. And yourself?
Good, man, good. I recently, it was my sister's birthday last weekend. I went home to Harrogate. There was a comic book convention. I met some cool people there, but we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Excellent.
But yeah, all in all, good. A good week for Star Trek for old Ethan.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Then should we kick off on the news and work out why it was so good for you? I'm sure there's one or two segments that you absolutely love in our news.
Honestly, there are a couple of segments this week that have just tickled me right in the Star Trek bone. But first up, we've got to do something, Mike.
Again,
we've got to do something about this.
Yeah.
People are still asking the former cast members of the Kelvin Timeline Star Trek movie franchise whether or not they'd be up for Star Trek 4 months after it's been announced that it's not happening.
Yeah.
And poor bloody Zachary Quinto just doing his best to be like, yeah, it'd be great.
Sure. Yeah.
Just leave him alone.
Please.
Okay?
Can we put out a message to all the interviewers of the world that none of the cast of the Kelvin movies know anything about the Kelvin movies?
They don't give
They didn't know
shit.
it was coming back. Why would they know now? Yeah, very much so.
They're booked up.
Mm.
In an October interview with Forbes, Quinto reiterated, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea if or when it will ever come at this point. It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
But hey, just that, when the phone rings and JJ says, hey, we're really going to do it, then I'll show up, yeah. But until then, I have a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah, he does. He's too busy. He's fucking guys to death on fucking American Horror Story.
Okay.
Yo, man,
I haven't seen it, so I thought that was a weird reach then.
No, dude. This series of American Horror Story has been rough.
Okay.
Woo! Yeah, man. Zachary Quinto and George from Being Human, they friggin'
Okay.
Yeah, they did that thing I said. Poor little twink. But yeah, this is what I mean. We've got to do something, man.
Yeah.
We've got to do something about this. We've got to help these poor millionaire actors. We've got to start a hashtag. Leave the Kelvin cast alone.
Maybe that's what we should do. Now we've got our Twitter that we are barely using. We should just tweet every time there's an interview. Tweet
Absolutely.
to the interviewer. Tweet to the person who wrote it up saying, why the fuck would they know? Stop asking these questions.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make a note to do that.
Yeah.
Right now.
Don't worry, there'll probably be 3 or 4 more interviews this week. Chris Pine. Whoever played Sulu. Whoever played Jailer.
Yeah.
Are you coming back for this movie that's not happening?
Scotty's little troll mate.
Yeah. Yeah. But can we have some other fucking news other than Star Trek 4?
Oh, well, you want some other news? Boy, do I have some other news for you.
Oh yeah.
Because do you know what time it is? Do you know
Is
what
it time for my least favourite segment?
You know it is, mate. It's time for Shatner Face.
Yeah.
Woo! We got Shatner Face up in here, baby.
The segment where William Shatner inserts himself and he does no wrong.
Yeah.
But everyone does wrong to him.
Oh, mate, this week he extra did no wrong, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And this edition of this is actually a Shatner Face Times edition.
Oh.
It's a classier Shatner Face than we used to. This isn't no Masked Singer.
Mm.
No, he did an interview with the Times. Did you know he was in the UK briefly? Did you not
I didn't.
Did you not sense? Well, not like it wouldn't be a disturbance in the force. It'd be like something. I don't know.
Strange in my neighborhood. Yeah.
No, like it'd be like Deanna Troy's bad beta.
Oh yeah.
Did you not sense something nothing?
Yeah. They should just we should just do the I sense he's lying. Tweet that to Shatner all the time.
Oh no! I tell you what, man. This is a wonderful example of the definition of spin.
Yeah.
So Shatner talked about a few things. He sat down with the Times to discuss his new book, an upcoming tour that he's going to be doing. He's talking about the convention circuit and saying a lot of nice things about the fans and how much he enjoys standing on stage, being asked questions.
Being the centre of attention. Yeah.
Being the centre of attention. Then he opened up about his long-running feud with George Takei. I'm going to read to you a couple of excerpts from this interview when talking about George Takei.
Mm-hmm.
So Shatner says, I began to understand that they were doing it for publicity, talking obviously about George Takei bad-mouthing him.
Yeah.
60 years after some incident, they are still on that track. Don't you think that's a little weird? It's like a sickness. George has never stopped blackening my name. These people are bitter and embittered. I have run out of patience with them. Why give credence to people consumed by envy and hate?
So he likes talking about a show he was on in the 60s, but he doesn't like other people bringing up other stuff that happened in the 60s.
Well, I think the irony is like that speech is the most bitter way of calling someone else bitter I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
He goes on when talking to the Times about his Emmy-winning run on Boston Legal. The actor used the opportunity to draw a contrast. James Spader was wonderful. The whole cast was wonderful. And I have never heard a word from them saying how much they didn't like me.
You should probably listen more, mate. To Shatner, in that I'm sure a good number of the cast didn't like you. And even if they didn't, they didn't mind you. If one person doesn't like you because you did something wrong to them, which you did with Takei, then you're not owed forgiveness. You're not, he doesn't have to shut up just because you want him to.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm sure James Spader wouldn't like him if he thought about him.
No.
But yeah, so that's, so there we are. Good old Shatner face. And George Takei is the one who's better. But that's not the only bit of Shatner face. We've got a double fisting of Shatner face this week. Mike, have you ever listened to the Howard Stern show?
I haven't. I know of it.
Have you ever listened to Rob Zombie?
Yeah.
Do you like The Great American Nightmare?
Don't know what it is. I've got his Monsters reboot ready to watch. Just because I need something to hate watch at some point.
I can't. I don't know if I can bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Well, the Great American Nightmare, song by Rob Zombie, is the theme song for Howard Stern show.
Hmm.
But this week, William Shatner sent Howard Stern a little gift this week.
Okay.
Are you
Is he
excited?
singing it?
Hold on.
Deep down from planet X, 13 ghosts in the devil's head. Step right up and feel the fire. Hardcore love of the never dead. Call me the American Nightmare.
Right. I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Hey, yeah!
Yeah.
Man, I think that was fucking sick. We need to get something just like that for our theme song.
Yeah. I didn't mind the rock version of the TOS theme at the start. It's just Shatner.
Yeah.
Shatner being Shatner.
Love it. Why do you think he does it?
Because he's rich and can do whatever he wants.
What is he doing? Like there's the, we had Rocket Man, right? Rocket Man happened
Yeah.
at the Oscars that year. I think it was the Oscars, maybe the Grammys. But like, obviously, what's happening here is William Shatner can't sing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so he's like, well, I can't sing, but one thing I can do is acting.
I don't know if you've seen the movie Free Enterprise. They meet William Shatner, the actor, and it is some Trek fans, but they're going through love stuff. It's Will from Will and Grace, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
And at the
yeah.
end
I've seen the trailer.
End
for
of
this,
that,
yes.
he
Never
raps.
seen it.
William Shatner is trying to make a Julius Caesar rap play, and he sings some of it at the end, or he raps some of it at the end.
Oh man, we're gonna have to
Um,
look that up.
And at
I'm
least
gonna
that
have
was
to-
tongue in cheek.
oh.
Like you kind of got like that. Okay, Shatner realizes he's a joke, and then he keeps
yeah.
doing stuff like this.
Well, this is the thing. There is a lot of tongue in cheekness to it, but he doesn't just do covers.
No,
He also does his own material, his own weird poetry that he writes. That's like just kind of
yeah,
vaguely like, wisdom. It just sounds like wisdom. But if wisdom,
if you're 14,
yeah, it sounds like it really does sound like bad teenagers' poetry.
yeah.
But we love you, Bill.
One of us loves you, Bill.
I don't. Hey, it's not me. But enough of that. Enough of someone we don't like. Let's have some of someone we do like.
Yes,
John Delancey.
Yes.
You like John Delancey?
we do.
And last week, after we finished recording, I sat down to watch some stuff, and I tuned into a channel that I follow on YouTube. They're a charitable foundation called the Freedom from Religion Foundation. They work in the United States to raise awareness around maintaining the separation of religion and government.
Yeah,
And John Delancey did a little interview for them.
nice.
In it, the hosts of the platform, they look desperately like they're either trying to keep their cool, or they're trying to look like they know a thing about Star Trek. But they
Yeah.
do look like they are reading from Wikipedia pages.
Okay.
And they also sound nervous, but which is weird because they always sound nervous every single time. But yeah, in it, John Delancey talks about something that he finds extremely important, which is atheism and free thought, and like there's a special kind of poetic irony in just how much John Delancey, who plays a god on Star Trek, fucking hates the idea of religion.
Yeah.
Like, he's super against it, man.
I mean, yeah. Good. Good for the work that that channel's doing as well. Separation of church and state. Believe, what the hell you want to believe, but don't make it impact other people.
Absolutely. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, they campaign for for separation of church and state over in the States, but they also they're centered in Texas, and they work with, and they're mostly made up of former ministers and preachers, and they work with another foundation called Recovering from Religion, who literally help people who are in situations where there may be
help ex-Mormons or whatever. Yeah,
ex-Mormons, or they may be leaving church and they don't have a community anymore, and they help them, and they work with places like the Atheist Community of Austin, all very charitable, all doing really good work, without the promise of divine reward.
Doing the good work in this life rather than waiting, doing it to get into the next. Very
Absolutely. Nice. But if you want to hear John Delancey talking about that issue that's very close to his heart, go over to that channel and look up some of his other talks as well. He's that interview is pretty tame. He's said some pretty fucking scathing shit about the idea of religion.
Yeah.
And he has no sympathy for the people whatsoever.
Okay.
But anyway, on to some sad news.
We were getting happier and happier for a second.
Yeah. But don't worry.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't relate to us anyway. Because, are you going to Seattle anytime soon?
Not planning to.
Well, why would you? Star Trek Mission Seattle has been cancelled. There's literally no reason to go.
Yeah.
They're...
this kind of follows that after all the Europe ones getting cancelled, and they're even under different event groups. So the European ones got cancelled because they were shit, and apparently all the American ones are getting cancelled as well.
Well, yeah, the Star Trek Missions website says, after careful consideration, unfortunately the decision was made to not move forward with the Star Trek Mission Seattle event in 2023. We are working on new ways to bring our favorite Trek fans the optimum experience, and we look forward to celebrating together again in the future. Yeah. But yeah, sad news for Seattle folks. Why don't you go fucking have an espresso over it? Go have some tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
I was going to say, go watch some Frasier.
Yeah,
the only other thing I know is in Seattle.
Yeah.
The Needle, whatever it's called.
But never mind cancelled conventions. I've got a cool story to tell.
Yeah, go for it.
I went to a comic book convention last week, as I mentioned earlier. I went to Thought Bubble. It was in my hometown of Harrogate. It used to be here in Leeds, where I live now. But then when I moved to Leeds, they moved it to Harrogate. So, fuck you.
They've been avoiding you, really.
Well, Harrogate's an events place. They have a big convention centre. And, Thought Bubble used to be held in Savile's Hall.
Okay.
Which is named after Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
So, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a few cool people there. There was Scott Snyder was there, David Aha, and Mark Bernardin. Mark Bernardin, obviously the supervisor, executive producer, supervising producer on season 2 of Star Trek Picard, and obviously he also wrote for Castle Rock and Masters of the Universe, and he does the Fat Man Beyond podcast with Kevin Smith, one of my favorite podcasts. One of the first podcasts I ever listened to back when it was Fat Man on Batman. That's why I got Mark Bernardin. Hold on, I'm just gonna turn off the audio for a second. I got Mark Bernardin to sign my microphone.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
From one podcaster to an up-and-comer.
Yeah, man. It was very cool. There was a funny moment after we talked about some Star Trek stuff. we'll get into, and then he signed the mic, and then I couldn't. It just came out. So he signed the mic with a bronze Sharpie, which I've literally just had in my hand here. This bronze Sharpie, and then he put the lid back on and he put it down next to his pens, and I just instinctively went, "Oi,
that's my fucking pen.
That's my fucking pen."
Yeah.
And he just went, "Oh shit, sorry." And I was just like, and he went, "I mean, that's the price for the autograph." And I was just like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah.
And I just took the pen back off him. I was like, "My mother taught me to always look after a good pen.
Look after your pens. Yeah.
Always look
We're
after
too
your
northern
pens."
to like let a pen go wandering.
Look, I'm a fan. I'm not that big a fucking fan, all right? This is a bronze Sharpie. This is a nice pen.
You're not his stationery assistant.
Mark Bernardin.
Mm.
But yeah, it just came out. Oi! Skip.
Have off that.
No.
But what was the track stuff you talked about with him?
Well, we talked about like, you know, I said like I read that you like, you know, you were an intern on Deep Space Nine. He was like, yeah, it's crazy. Like he was telling me that he was an intern on Deep Space Nine. He pitched a script for Next Generation that didn't get made. And then, you know, 20 years later, he was, you know, what is it he said? He said, you know, it really feels like the culmination of a 20-year journey of having a crack, you know, getting into the Star Trek franchise, it not going well, and then just kind of taking the long way around and getting back into it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is very cool, man. And you know, like I say, I've been listening to their podcast for ages, and over the years, I've seen him get more and more work and get more recognition. And it's cool. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
But I know what you want to hear about.
What do I want to hear about?
You want to hear about? I'll tell you what you want to hear about. You want to hear about the script for Future Past, the episode that Mark Bernardin pitched for Star Trek Next Generation that never got made. No, Past Present. That's it. He couldn't remember it either. He couldn't remember the title either. But so basically, he explained to me that the outline was that they would be running kind of like a war game scenario, kind of like we had in the TNG episode Peak Performance.
Yeah, with a stargazer. Yeah.
Yep. So they're doing like but they, instead of, you know, wiring up to another ship, wiring their sensors up and having an artificial environment set up that way, they just have an artificial environment set up to their sensors. And they, you know, so there's artificial scenarios coming up on the view screens and stuff.
Yeah.
And various sections of the ship will shut down if they undergo like damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's damaged, that, you know, system will shut down. And Data has one of his really good ideas. One of those really good ideas.
Okay.
A lesson he, like probably in this scenario, wouldn't have learned from Ship in a Bottle. And he asks the computer to come up with a scenario
that he can't beat. He does it again.
And the computer comes up with an artificially generated Khan Noonien Singh.
Okay.
So they are fighting an artificially generated Khan Noonien Singh that exists only on the view screen and within his own artificial environment.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, presumably, like when the view screen cuts off, the scene would cut back to Khan on the bridge of the Reliant.
And were they going to get Multibarn for this? With
Probably
his chest
the reason
out?
why it didn't get made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way he could get to that sort of physical peak again.
I mean, no. I mean, that's if that chest was real, which we're all fairly certain it was.
Yeah.
But they probably could have made a fake one.
Yeah, I suppose.
But what do you think? How does that sound? How does that
Sounds
sound to you?
sounds like a cool episode idea. I never understand why they do the battle simulations on the real ships when they've got holodecks that exist in that sort of situation. Don't understand it, but
Well, I mean,
it sounds like a cool episode.
they can't have the whole crew. With the war games, with the
Yeah,
if you're having the bridge crew doing a war game scenario, yeah, you can do that on the holodeck, but like
yeah,
you can't do that with the whole crew. Like if we're having like an all hands battle drill kind of thing.
yeah. I suppose.
Um, but yeah, I think it would have been like I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have changed the lore in any way. Like all the
No,
rest of the like augment stuff we get in Enterprise is all before Khan and everything. So
yeah. Uh, if he was pitching this, I'm guessing it was towards the end of TNG as well, being
mm,
that if he was interning on DS9
yeah,
and TNG season 7, or yeah, TNG season 7 is pretty bad. And they go to the
to be
well of
honest,
this person has a family member that's on board a number of times. So it
mhm.
sounds no worse than any episode in season
No,
7, really.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Um, it would have been. I think it would have been. I think it would have been fun. It would have been cool to see Montalban
Yeah.
again. It would have been funny to have like, oh no, Data asked the computer to he went from asking the computer to create like the perfect mind
Yeah.
to the superior intellect.
Mm.
And it's just like, why do you keep asking the computer
Stop
to
doing
make
this, man.
things that are smarter than you?
Yeah. He's an
Uh,
idiot. He's that
yeah,
smart that he's an idiot.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The genius is folly. You
Mm.
think you're so smart, you forget that you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would have been cool, man.
Yeah.
And it was
Cool
it
idea.
was it was nice to actually to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Mm.
Yeah, that's it for the
Uh,
news.
then
But yeah, do you
be,
feel informed? How do you feel after
uh,
getting double shatnered on your face?
I feel terrible. It started pulling it back there at the end, but the start was really with Star Trek 4 and Double Shatner. I feel like a weight has been put onto my shoulders rather than lifted off.
Yeah, no. Don't
Yeah,
just leave the Kelvin cast alone.
yeah.
Stop indulging William Shatner.
Mm.
Think for yourselves and fucking
And meet your
buy
heroes.
Mark Bernardin's new comic book.
Yeah. But speaking of comic books,
Ah, yes, you've got
we
some
almost like
you've got some stuff for me, haven't you?
did a segue. Yeah, we almost did a segue.
We've segued before, we'll segue again.
Yeah. So when you're seeing this yesterday, the first comic, the first issue of the Resurgence, Star Trek
Oh, I thought you
Resurgence came
meant
out.
when. Sorry, I thought you meant when you're seeing this yesterday.
No,
All
when
right.
you, the audience, are seeing this yesterday, the first issue of Star Trek Resurgence, the comic for the new game, came out. So I had a read through of that today. It is mainly introducing the characters, but it also sets up a bit of the plot. So we knew that Leah Brahms was going to be in this. Leah Brahms gets kidnapped while she's researching a rare and volatile form of dilithium that would make ships go faster.
Oh,
And
great idea.
yeah, and the USS Resolute, so the ship from the game, is sent after her because the captain used to work with her or something like that. And we find out that she was kidnapped by Talarians from the TNG episode Suddenly Human. So the episode Suddenly Human, the Enterprise D comes across a Talarian ship, and there's a human on board and a young human, and he was kidnapped from an
Oh,
admiral and raised to hate humans.
that's a great episode.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And not only is it Talarians that have abducted Leah Brahms, it's that dude. So it is Jono.
That
It's
lad.
my mate down the
That
pub,
lad.
Jono. Yeah.
Jono.
Yeah.
Jono from Jono the Talarian.
Yeah. Well, Jono, the human who thinks he's Talarian or acts like he's Talarian, tried to
He's
stab Picard.
Talarian.
That dude.
Talarian is a Talarian citizen.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna play the game, it's starting to set up the characters at least. Captain Mustache, Engineer Strict Vulcan, and the rest of them. So yeah, I can't remember any of the names. I apologize.
I wonder if we'll get any like that Klingon heavy metal that the Talarians like listening to.
Yeah, possibly.
Cool.
Yeah,
That fucking
a comics corner, a very quick comics corner to talk about Resurgence.
Wow, that captain does have a mustache.
Yeah, it's a great mustache.
What a mustache!
Yeah.
A proud mustache.
Yeah, when you see him remembering working with Leah Brahms, he's a very much like younger man in the TNG season 1, season 2 uniform.
He's got a tiny little mustache.
It's not as bushy.
Yeah, it's a pencil mustache.
Yeah. But yeah, so check it out if you want to.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at this cover with the Starfleet Delta and the flame on it.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about you saying that there's a new and volatile form of fuel. And I'm thinking probably shouldn't
investigate it.
Probably shouldn't. Probably should just leave it alone. Looks like if you read this comic book and understood foreshadowing, maybe you would know to leave that fuel alone.
Yeah. In the comic, they're like, oh, if you tune it precisely, you could go at much, much higher warp. Or if you tune it wrong, it would turn into an explosion. And like, okay, it's going to be an explosion then.
So there's like no... It's just like boom, boom. There's no like...
There's no middle ground.
There's no middle ground. It's either... It's all good or it explodes.
Yeah.
No, that kind of... when presented with that kind of choice, the right answer, I feel, is to just walk away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What one thing, if you want me to try and segue to our big topic of the week again, or the episode of the week, one person in it, I'm pretty sure was a Xindi humanoid, whatever they call them. Xindi primates. One of them was a Degra. And speaking of maybe Xindi or, that sort of species popping up, should we talk about Star Trek Prodigy?
See what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? I said you'd do a segue.
Yeah. And it's, something, a dusting to keep people interested. Why not? So
classic podcasting.
Yeah. We're on season 1, episode 14 now. What is it? Crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
The famous Britney Spears film.
Yeah. You think it's a homage? I thought it was a homage to the 90s through to the early 2000s British daytime soap opera Crossroads, set at the Crossroads Hotel.
Yeah. Fun thing.
It's very popular with the young people.
Yeah. Wasn't that a dream in the end? I'm trying to remember.
Yes, it was the dream. It was the dream. It was the dream of a woman at a checkout counter.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great way to end the series. All the writers completely done. That's fucking dream.
They were like, well, I mean, like someone already did the dream of what was it? Someone already did it. Was the in the snow globe of an autistic child.
Yeah.
What was his name? Johnny Mnemonic.
Was that Saint Elsewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
that.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you think of the episode?
I thought this episode was outrageous.
Outrageous.
It was outrageous, Mike.
Do
you get it?
I see what you're doing.
Do
I
you
see what
get
you're doing.
it?
Yeah, very good.
There's
Very
a
well
great
done.
cameo in this episode.
Yeah,
Quite well done, I feel.
yeah,
Yeah, it was good fun. There was some frustrating moments in this episode.
yeah. I get that.
Uh,
A
we'll
bit
we'll
of
get
postcard on the fridge sort of
yeah,
situation was
yeah.
odd for now.
But at the same time, the episode does kind of hammer down why that, or those frustrating scenarios happened.
Yeah,
It does kind of make sense.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, good fun episode. Nice to see things coming together.
mm,
In certain ways. Got some new uniforms.
yeah. I'm not drawing them
Those are
anymore.
looking good. Those are looking good.
Yeah.
I used to have a gorgeous red coat, and it just watching this episode made me miss that red coat. I have no idea what happened to it.
Yeah. Poor red coats. Poor red coats.
Mhm.
I agree. This was one of my. It's definitely up there in episodes of Prodigy for me, even with them being idiot kids doing idiot stuff. So yeah, I've got it as one of my favorite, and the cameos and the return of a couple of races and stuff like that. I thought it was all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we go into spoilers?
Yes, please.
I can do my. I've got it very short this week. So the kids had the protostar on an ice planet and head to an outpost looking for transport to the Federation, so they can explain why the protostar is an anti-Federation weapon bomb thing. They're searching for transportation when they start running into Janeway and the Dauntless crew, who are there to pick up Frex, the guy from the outpost the protostar accidentally blew up. Janeway's team cotton onto the protostar crew and start fairly aggressively chasing them down, thinking they're the guys that stole the protostar in the first place because of what Frex and the Diviners' bad memories have been saying. The protostar guys rush back to the protostar, picking up the outrageous O'Connor on the way back. They take off with the Dauntless in pursuit. Murph hatches into a bipedal version of himself and accidentally launches a torpedo at the Dauntless. Janeway fires back, breaking the protostar drive, and the protostar and O'Connor head into the neutral zone to escape Janeway. There we go.
Ballsy.
Fun episode. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun episode, man. The outrageous O'Connor.
Outrageous.
What a dude.
Billy Campbell, back again.
Wait, so what did you think? Like, what did you think of O'Connor?
Yeah, he's
O'Connor.
near enough how I remember him. He's like a bad Han Solo, really, isn't he? He's not great at his job.
I think, but like he's also more jovial. He's a bit more like
he's not fighting a war,
he's more finger gunny.
Yeah,
he's more like hey, woo, woo.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I know that the hologram Janeway, they don't give anyone for him to like put the real charm onto.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I thought it was fun that like, when we see him like now, it's kind of like when we see Han Solo in Force Awakens, where like, time has gone by and he's still just hauling junk. He's doing the same thing. Even a lot of like similar imagery to like when later in Force Awakens when Han Solo's on the Starkiller base and he's wearing big long coats. But yeah, like I could easily believe that O'Connor. I think the problem is they've got American accents, so when they say O'Connor, they're saying O'Connor.
Yeah,
O'Connor.
These Americans with their trying Irish names.
O'Connor.
Hey,
O'Connor. That explains why he had a vest, but where was his hat?
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Yeah, we get some like decent coats on this. Did the planet they landed on, did that remind you of the Enterprise one they kept on going back to, or like the set they kept on going back to?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it
like in
must. There's
Broken Bow
various
and then a
kind of
couple of others. Yeah,
various kind of way stations and dodgy, scum and villainy type places.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, there was a lot of I definitely got that vibe. Made more so by the inclusion of Zindi,
yeah.
which was
Fucking
cool.
Zindi.
Yeah,
Zindi
man.
reptilians for some reason on a snow planet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the Zindi, we see Kazon again.
yeah.
Those,
Kazon.
yeah.
I didn't see Kazon. That's cool. Oh wait, yes, I
When
remember now. The guy.
Frex is talking to someone
Yeah.
about how he was saved by nice Orions, and he's talking to a Kazon,
Yeah.
who have somehow got from like the furthest reaches of the Delta Quadrant to Federation space.
Wormholes.
Yeah, wormholes.
Wormholes in it.
We get a Klingon, which are the not rip-off, a non-rip-off Klingon, i.e. the Kazon. Yeah, but it's nice seeing the Zindi back at least. I do.
Yeah,
like
man,
a
getting
Zindi.
some Enterprise representation.
Yeah, yeah.
What else? What else happened?
Do we want to
Okay,
talk
we
about
had-
the stupidity of the kids?
So yeah. So the kids I mean, have you ever been in that scenario where like you're excited to go and talk to someone, and then you go and talk to them, and you don't know what to say? Me either. I was just blagging.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a talker.
You'll talk. I think the stupidity starts way before that, though. In that they go to this outpost, they bury the protostar and walk, even though the protostar has a thing where it can make a buggy, has a vehicle replicator. But they walk to try and curry favour to get onto a ship to get to Federation space. And they don't take any form of payment with them from the protostar. They could take some antimatter or dilithium or whatever with them. They don't. And then there's the bumping into like multiple people, multiple one of the protostar crew bump into someone, and they've got no idea what to say. Like,
Yeah, it was kind of frustrating.
yeah, all you have
like,
to say
hey.
is, "We're not the bad guys, by the way, but we've got the protostar."
Yeah, like we found this ship. It's called the Protostar. I'm sure I'm sure you know about it.
Yeah,
We didn't steal it.
you're working with
I'm
my
a
father,
child.
who, by the way, is a
I'm a
bad
child.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was some. Yeah, I mean, it's they have that. There's that thing where it's like fight or flight, but there's also like freeze, and that's what everyone kind of does. Dal draws attention to it when he freezes.
yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of frustrating where they had this opportunity to explain to them the situation.
You know what they could have done, even after like when Freck has like called them out and said that they blew up the station. Just one of them stay behind and get caught. You know Janeway's not going to kill you. And just explain the situation.
Right.
Just like Dahl put his hands up and be like, right, catch me. It's fine. By the way, we're on the Protostar. Don't try hailing it because it won't answer you because we don't want to blow you up. But let's work something out that works. Yeah.
Something.
Or even, I tell you what I was thinking when I watched it second time round. They go to this station and like, we need to get to the Federation. Why do they need to get to the Federation when like space Skype exists? They could like send a message from the station, which would be cheaper, be easier. You wouldn't have to work with the smugglers. To just say, by the way, Federation, Protostar's here. Don't try communicating with it. There's a bomb on board. But can someone come out and get us? We're children.
Can you come pick
We're
us up?
literal
We're literally children. We are unsupervised as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's just but they are kids, so
They are
kids.
maybe they're idiots.
And and one thing that if kids think that they might be in trouble, they are capable of all kinds of stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
there's something that it ground my gears. It chafed my fucking taint.
What was that?
Dr. Gnome. Dr. Noom.
Yeah.
Dr. Noom being a dick to Jank and Pog. Fucking classist bullshit.
But that's how Tellarites are, though. And being part of the Federation doesn't mean you have to
Tellarites
give
are.
out. No, that is how Tellarites
Oh,
are.
is it just the way they were raised?
No,
That's
do you remember the episode?
That's just how they were raised. That's just how we were raised in my day.
No, do you remember the episode of TNG where
I remember.
Wesley's in the academy, and one of his training lessons is like a dude bumps into him, and Wesley like looks him up and down and starts like getting aggro with him, and he's like, "Oh, that species, if you act normally around them, they take it as a threat." That's the Tellarites.
Yeah, that's their problem. It's not. It doesn't excuse it.
No, but if they're talking Tellarite to Tellarite,
like, it's still classist bullshit. It's still not okay in the Federation.
No,
it's a caste system, man.
Yeah, because Jacob goes from thinking that he's royalty because the Tellarites were one of the founding races.
Yeah, and then this
Federation.
fucking Tory bastard comes out and starts being mean to him.
Call him,
Giving
says
him,
Pog
like,
is a
say-
runt name.
Yeah, Pog's a bastard name, like like Snow in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like you call, apparently if someone has a baby that's a little runt, you call them a Pog. That's a caste system, man. That's not cool. That's not fucking liberty.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I
don't like.
I still
Doom.
thought it was like a good interaction there. Like all the pairings in particular.
It definitely had depth.
Yeah.
I now don't like Dr. Noom, the classist.
Yeah. But like
in
the
his
pairings, they
fucking
do
ivory tower.
Well, if not an ivory tower, he's got ivory tusks. So
fucking harvest those ivory tusks.
Make a piano.
Make egg cups with them.
Yeah. But they have him and Pog.
And then we'll eat the rich. Sorry.
Yeah. They have him and Pog, Essentia, and Gwyn, which I thought was another good one. They're the, younger women of the cast, really. So, good.
Essentia seeming to have not so much like empathy or she's not empathic, but she seems to be empathetic. Like she definitely has she seems to have a good sense of people.
Yeah.
And
cool gloves still.
And cool gloves.
Yeah. I noticed everyone else, all the other Federation guys, put on gloves as well this week. They weren't as cool as Essentia's. They were just black.
No,
black
she's
and
like,
red.
I've already got cool gloves on. Thank you very much.
I wear my winter gloves all the time.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. What did you think of Janeway in this episode?
Good. Like, she's operating how I would expect Janeway to operate, given the conclusion that she's been led to believe.
Yeah.
And then she gets this random moment in the middle of a mission where she's on the hunt, where she meets this kid who says he wants, and she's super nice and kind to this kid because that's the thing she needs to be. She's nice to him.
Yeah.
And she says something inspiring to him. Basically just trying to tell him to spit it the fuck out, but
she pretty much does there's no do, there's no try, there is only do, or whatever to him.
Do or do not, there is no try.
Yeah.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
The fear of failure, trust me, as someone who didn't enroll at university till he was 27, the fear of failure can be a big stumbling block in life for some people.
I thought she was fairly I know she's thinks Chakotay, her best mate or whatever, has possibly been kidnapped and whatever, but she's really standoffish, and like she calls people savages, and she's ready to enter the neutral zone for like nothing. It's like maybe losing you in the Delta Quadrant was a good thing because you would have like started a fucking war, the Federation against someone.
Would she have started it? Would she have started it, or would they have started it by being like that?
If she goes into Romulan space,
I didn't start it. They fucking started it. You should have seen the way they looked at me.
Yeah,
they fucking started it.
It's amazing how often as well, and I think it like comes from TNG where like the Enterprise used to meet warbirds head to head, where the Dauntless gets close to the neutral zone, and suddenly there's Romulan warbirds on the Federation side, like head to head with the Dauntless, being like, "If you come onto our side, that's it." And you're like, "Whose side are you on, mate?"
You're on our side. Yeah, we are. What are you gonna fucking do about it? You can't.
Yeah.
We could. Yeah.
Stupid.
And they're not even. It's not even about like going onto our side. It's going into the neutral zone. So they've stepped out of Romulan space into the neutral zone, through the neutral zone into Federation space to say, "Hey, where you off?
Yeah.
Don't you be coming over here? Don't you be coming back there?"
Yeah. It's someone standing in your garden being like, "Don't you touch my fence." Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got in my notes as well, Murph does a Riker maneuver.
Murph did a bit of a Riker maneuver. Like, what do you think of Murph's new design? Reminded me of a Pikmin.
Yeah,
Like
with the sprout on the head thing. Yeah. I look forward to when Murph is... I hope like this means it's an actual, like, becomes more of a character as time goes on.
Maybe.
Because the slug normally got left behind, and nothing happened to it. The carry case that Murph got shoved into to take it along was just like a Death Stranding. Have you played that game?
No.
It's the one with the dude from Walking Dead.
Right, yeah.
And he carries like a baby with him at all times on this fucking carry case. And it's just the same as that. And I was like, okay, we're carrying like this person with us for no reason. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool when they all ran from the Starfleet officers and they immediately jumped into the Fantastica.
Yeah, yeah. Surprised it didn't do the separation thing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And they just hopped in and were like, let's steal this then, I guess. I like that. I like moments like that.
Yeah.
And
they definitely kill some Xindi. This is the first,
they definitely killed some people, for sure.
Yeah, this is the first body count that I'm ascribing to these kids, where they throw something out the back, and one of the land speeders hovering behind them runs into a wall and explodes, and I'm like, dead. That person's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they fucked them up.
Yeah.
What did you think of Warp 9.97?
Yeah.
I love warp speed stuff, and they've got a great bridge to have a good view of it. It's cool.
Yeah. I was amazed how big the Dauntless was compared to the Protostar.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the opening of A New Hope when the big...
Yeah.
It's like coming over.
Yeah. Because the Dauntless, the make-believe Dauntless that this one's copied off from Voyager was never that big. But you can, no. It's a new ship, so it could be as big as you want.
Yeah, it's a, what's the word? A cruiser?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fucking dreadnought.
Yeah. Do you reckon... So we know Jellicoe's going to be in this series. Do you reckon he's next week handling the Romulans?
Yeah, well, I mean, this episode is there's a cliffhanger, so there's presumably, it's not like Crossroads Part 1 though.
Yeah.
So maybe next episode is just going to pick up where this one left off. But yeah, I'm thinking, you know, Jellicoe's going to have to step in to help.
Yeah.
Be
his normal dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, they're
He
dealing with
Skypes
the
into the
Romulans
Dauntless and he's like,
Yeah.
what shift rotation are you running, Janeway?
They're like
3 shifts?
Skype-
Well, that's why these kids escaped you. You need a 4-shift rotation, I tell you.
you need a 4-shift rotation, especially if you're going to go up against the Romulans.
Yeah.
I mean, like, maybe they just get Jellicoe in a conference call with the Romulans to be like, sorry, we need someone with the right negotiation style.
Yeah, I think that's what it'll be. Yeah.
We need a stern, you know, thoroughly grey individual to deal with the Romulans.
We need a 90-year-old man to help us out here. Yeah.
One thing I liked, we got what's his bloody name? We got a little bit more of the first officer, number 1, Tysis.
Tysis, yeah.
Tysis, voiced by Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah.
David Diggs.
Yeah. I can never remember his name.
Like there was a you know, Janeway's like fully ready to like fucking smash into the Romulan zone, to the neutral zone, and Tysis is like, you know, no.
Yeah.
And he
You've
says,
taught
you
me
want
to-
you want someone to listen to my emotions but not be led by them. I like that we're getting some like world building, some kind of like tastes of previous shit going on.
Yeah.
You know, backstory without doing exposition.
Yeah. And they seem to be trying hard to get us to remember the names of that crew, because like when they beamed down, it was like, your full name, you'll do this. Your full name, you'll do that. And the only one I can remember is Essentia so far.
Yeah. And those 3 seem to be like her guys.
Yeah.
Her boys.
Yeah. But that was about, I think the only other note I had was setting the time period of this. So the Romulans know at the moment that the star is going to go supernova.
Right, okay.
But it's got several years before it actually does.
Oh man, just like Krypton.
Yeah, yeah.
The council knew.
The council knew. It's all conspiracy, man. Yeah. So at this point, they should be like making plans anyway to escape or whatever, like to evacuate the solar system, and possibly even work with the Federation to do that. So.
If only they weren't so paranoid and xenophobic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
blame them.
Much like society, you know, we're all facing, you know, planet death. But we're all so afraid of each other that we're not willing to work together, you know, towards a common good. And also, you know, we just consume.
Yeah.
That's all we do is consume.
We're happy with our comforts, so yeah.
But I'm looking forward to seeing some more Romulan stuff. Like I feel like throughout all of Star Trek, we've never got enough Romulans. And now when we do get Romulans, they're kind of pacified because they're post-apocalyptic. But now we're getting some more of like, you know, the Romulan Empire. And so I'm looking forward to some more of that.
And this should almost be at like the height of the Empire as well. Like, or hold on, when did Star Trek Nemesis must be set a couple years before this?
Yes.
So they should have a fairly friendly Praetor at the moment, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, but it's still the height of the power of the Empire, at least.
Well, I mean, saying that, if they go with Star Trek Online, the Praetor might be Sailor.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
But that must be after the explosion of...
Yeah, and then in
Romulus.
Star Trek Online, it goes, there's 2 factions. There's the Tal Shiar and the their new Romulan Star Empire,
Okay.
and then there's new Romulus, who are more like kind of frontiersmen. The Romulan like faction in Star Trek Online is very like everyone's dressed like it's Serenity.
Okay.
They've abandoned the big shoulders.
Yeah. What a shame.
No good.
You
No
had
good.
that one style piece. They're probably not wearing the helmets either, so
Nope.
what are they even doing with their lives?
But yeah, looking forward to some more Romulan shit.
Yeah.
Looking forward to some more interactions between the Dauntless and the Protostar.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Revolution, and then we can take care of Dr. Noom.
He's done nothing wrong.
He done nothing wrong. You
He's
fucking
done nothing
bootlicker.
wrong.
He's a fucking Tory cunt. He's a classist bastard.
No.
He looks down on the little guy. He's punching down.
I mean, Pog was going to find out at some point he was named after, like, a runt.
Yeah. He was operating under a misguided conclusion.
Yeah.
He is an amplifying of a fucking systemic problem.
No. Yeah. I get that.
The Tellarites need to get their act into fucking... need to sort the fucking... What am I trying to say?
Yeah.
They need to have a word with themselves.
Did you have a message for the episode then? Because I had a message that somewhat links into that.
Well, it's, I guess the most, like Janeway says, fear of failure has stopped a lot of people from doing stuff.
Okay.
And the fear of everything going wrong seems to be the stumbling block for most of the crew at some point in this episode. And it's an important thing. It's the kind of thing that stops a lot of people from progressing in life. It's what stopped the Romulan Empire from making good enough connections that they could avert catastrophe. It's what stopped me from going to university at a younger age and
living your dreams
and living my dream
earlier.
It's it's an important lesson to learn, and it was said in a very clear and concise way by a very authoritative figure. So I think it's a good message for the kids out there that are going to be watching this show.
I had a completely different one. I had don't judge people before you know them, or on secondhand information. So there's obviously the Freck stuff. Getting secondhand information to Janeway and not really knowing them. Then someone is shocked at Rock, their size, and she says back, "Don't judge me by my size." Then there's judging of Pog by his size. So there's all judging of people from secondhand information or their traits. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. Janeway. Like we're talking about Janeway and how she's behaving. She is operating under a false conclusion.
Yeah.
She's there's the Sherlock Holmes line of not forming a hypothesis before you have all the facts, or you will twist facts to suit theories rather than theories to suit facts.
Yeah.
And that it's an important thing to not sort of jump before you know where you're gonna land.
Yep. True that. Well, do we have anything else to go through other than the links to all socials?
There was the two things I wanted to go through. So Star Trek released. Well, actually, first we'll do the captain's log.
Okay.
So during it, Janeway sort of tells us where we are, which we know where we are, but she also mentions that she hates not drinking coffee, and she says, I mean, who can stand tea out of a replicator? And now that it's been said like that, as an Englishman, you gotta
Picard.
think well, I mean, you gotta think like maybe a cup of tea out of a replicator maybe wouldn't
Yeah.
quite taste right.
I've said for a while, like, and I think it's not just my theory, but anytime that the quality of food is brought up, the replicators are bad at making food. And the only people who truly, truly enjoy it are people like the doctor in Seven and Nine's Body, who's never experienced, like, food before. Or people that have never had that sort of variation. But Riker's cooking because food tastes horrible. Sisko's dad's cooking because food tastes horrible. In Picard, they're talking about how they switched the replicators from one sort of matrix to another and it's not as good. You know, food isn't nice out the replicator, or it isn't as nice as it could be.
Dessert is always like
tricky dessert.
I guess dessert is good. No, like everyone always seems to enjoy the desserts.
Yeah.
But then everyone always says like, "Oh, you've replicated this fucking blood wine, or this gack, or this rum with an ale, or this brandy. It's all shit."
Yeah.
But chocolate, pudding, ice cream, gelato.
No, because Troy, the queen of cake or the queen of chocolate, prefers cakes that have been made, and probably not just because they've been made and shown effort. Because she would be the taste princess of chocolate, really. She's always talking about how she eats chocolate.
Maybe. But I mean, like, some people do, like, fucking eat really shit processed desserts, and you think,
yeah,
you like that? And they go, yeah, I love it. This is better. Yeah, I know that's better, but this is still good.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, if we end up with replicators, I'm ordering dessert over the 3D printed steak.
Yep.
Oh, and the other thing was for last week's episode, when we met the planet of the theater kids.
Yeah.
Star Trek released like a fun mock playbill for Starflight and the Legend of Ensign.
Okay.
We got some reviews here from the Starflight Times says it's a sensation. The Starflight Review says live, logs, and proper.
Very good.
And the Starflight Weekly says the prophecy comes alive. Doesn't that sound good?
It sounds great. Sounds great.
Sounds like people are loving it. But they Star Trek put that out on a tweet with the question, what classic Star Trek stories would you want to see retold on stage? What episode of Star Trek do you think would make a good play? I always thought Duet, the Deep Space Nine episode with Kira and
one
the
of my favorite
Cardassian.
episodes, Duet.
Same, and it's much like an F. Scott Fitzgerald play. Like it only takes place. The whole thing takes place in like 4 rooms.
Yeah.
And it's
Nice,
I'd love to see that on stage.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of which TOS episode I'd pick, because I think it would be a TOS one because of how like overly dramatic they are anyway, of the productions at the time.
The Menagerie. Because like you could have like the court proceeding over here, and then when they go to the tape, lights go off. Oh, shit.
The set changes just like that.
The set changes. The lights go off on that end of the stage, and then the lights go up on this end of the stage, and you've got different people.
Yeah. Or like pick like the worst one possible, like the Turnabout Intruder.
That would be a great one.
Yeah.
That'd be a great one.
Or I tell you what,
William
Enemy
Shatner would
Within.
love to do Turnabout Intruder on stage.
Yeah. No, The Enemy Within, I think, would be
The Enemy
a
Within,
good
which
one.
one's that?
So when Kirk gets separated into two, good Kirk and bad Kirk.
Oh, that would be good. How would you get twins to play Kirk?
Yeah. Well, most of the time you only need one person playing it, don't you? It's only like for one scene where you need both of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could, and then you could just have one guy fighting himself.
Yeah. Just have it as a one-man play. Yeah. Yeah.
There have been, like, over the years, many stage productions of Hamlet in the original Klingon.
Yeah.
There's a few, you can find some scenes. There's a good Tachbech Nachbeh scene out there.
To be or not to be, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in Klingon. It's surprisingly good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, to all the fail freaks out there, I came up with that.
Good work.
All you fail freaks.
If you can think of like a track that you'd like to see as a play, let them know. You know.
The Drumhead.
Yeah, trial episodes would work well, I think, because it's confined location. But on that note, then, should we say all the links to socials and that's down below? Yes. And yeah, like, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Write a review, all that.
Tell your friends.
Tell your
family. Tell your mum. Tell your mum about me.
Please.
Yeah. That's it then.
Yeah.
I'm staying with the live logs and proper. You motherfuckers.
I'll do peace and long life, double the masses.